Dricus du Plessis is looking to solidify his stake. You know, I feel like for a long time he had this rise up where everyone bet against him. We're saying he's got to lose at some point. Look at the way he fights. It's so weird and it's just not right. And all the fighters are saying the same thing. But he keeps winning. And he keeps doing it in devastating fashion. He's finishing these people, right? Sean Strickland enters, and he has a performance that should have probably defended the title. He won. He was up on points. He did all the numbers things. But that's kind of the story of this bout right here, AJ. I'm not sure if numbers is actually what's going to win fights. I'm actually very confident Sean Strickland will outstrike Dricus du Plessis. The question is outstriking him enough to win him a championship?
It's not. It's not, Derek. I mean, we saw it again, especially with how the judging has been going in the tail end of 2024 into 2025. Damage and moments seem to have this big impact on people, right? The oohs and the ahs of the crowd, and that's what Dricus is going to get. And as much as we were all betting against him in the past, the style he has seems to be a very hard puzzle to fix. And until you put Dricus out, he's always going to be in the fight.
I agree, man. But the hard part is Strickland looks good. If you rewatch the fight, he looks good the whole fight, man. He just, before you know it, before Dricus could even throw 1 or 2 shots, he's already got jabbed like 11 times. You know what I mean? Like he's just eating them. The problem is the man has a chin, the man has a gas tank, and he'll push the pace with grappling, with feints, with takedowns, with big bombs, head down, reckless abandon, swinging overhead. He'll do it for 25 minutes, AJ. We've seen it. So what can Sean Strickland do that's different? But after you answer that, we'll jump into numbers. But just from a matchup standpoint, like what can he do that's different? Because I see Sean Strickland fight the same way every time. It never changes.
Every single time, Derek. And what he needs to do is just add one more layer to his arsenal, right? Like you said, he's jabbing. He's pumping the jab the whole time. One more, 11 times in the face before DDP is able to get another one off. But next time, just follow it up with a big right hand and land those moments. And that's going to be the tide turner if you're looking to have Strickland win this fight.
Interesting. Okay, that's one way that you could definitely do it. Takedowns. You talked about how damage and moments matter. Do takedowns matter here? Because that is one thing you have to admit. There have been some people who have been able to rack up takedowns, but they're not doing damage and they're not winning fights. So what does a takedown mean in this matchup?
I don't think it means much to Derek, especially if Dricus, because that's who I'm thinking is going to be leading the takedowns, isn't able to hold Strickland down and then actually do the damage. We've seen control kind of fade by the wayside right now where, yes, they're able to get it in control, but then if other things are happening, that's what actually leads to the win. Unless DDP is able to put some work down or hold him down the entire 25 minutes of the fight, then I can see it happening. But I don't think it weighs that heavy on the judges anymore.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let's talk about the numbers in this. This is what matters here, man. I was actually a little surprised, but the line hasn't moved much. Du Plessis opened around minus 205, plus 170 comeback for Strickland. That's where it's sitting right now. Plus 170 is still live there for Sean Strickland, minus 200 for Du Plessis. I'm hearing some people say this is incredible value to bet on DDP right here. And then I'm hearing other people saying that Sean Strickland is going to like 50-45 this dude. Just as long as he can avoid not staying on his back, this is the bet of a lifetime on Sean Strickland. I want to know your thoughts specifically.
If you're a Sean Strickland diehard, I can see where the logic is coming into place because he could. We've seen him stop takedowns. We've seen him use good movement and utilize keeping a distance, especially with the little teep kick, the little front push kick he likes to do. I just think the DDP line of all the ways this fight could go, and especially with how the judging has been going on in the future or in the past, it leads to DDP winning this fight. I do like the money, Derek, but like I said, the 4.5 at minus 160, I can see it happening. But I think this fight's going the distance at that minus 175 we were talking about earlier for the prop lock.
Currently at minus 170 right now. So actually got a little bit better right there. I like it. I think it's fair right here. I just wonder, what does Du Plessis what can he do to avoid the jab, man? Because that's the thing that's going to beat him up. You saw his face after the fight. That wasn't a pretty fight for him. Well, not a flawless fight by any stretch of the imagination. But are there any weapons that Du Plessis has to offer that can allow him to avoid that jab?
I mean, he had that reckless abandon you were talking about, head down, throwing big bombs. Now just do that instead of throw a bomb, keep your guard up and dip off the side. In theory, it'll work, but I just don't see DDP implementing or having the head speed to be able to get his head off the center line and then actually avoid the strikes because his hands are usually pretty low because he's looking to grab your hips as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm looking at the numbers too, and I'm looking at the just kind of recent outcomes right here. As I had mentioned, Du Plessis is a finisher, right? Submission. He had the split against Strickland, right? But aside from that, submission against Adesanya, knocked out Whitaker, knocked out Brunson, submitted Darren Till. If you're looking at Sean Strickland, I do see this as an opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I can see if he wins. I don't think it has to be by decision. Do you think that it has to be by decision? Like, is there a shot for a knockout by Sean Strickland? Because, again, sit down on a right hand after that jab, and you might see a little bit something different from Duplessis.
Especially if Duplessis is in one of those transition phases, right? Head down, arm coming over the top. You catch him on a nice button, like DDP can go down. So yeah, that TKO at 675 does make some sense for Sean Strickland. I do think the 240 decision's better, but I think there is some juice right there if you're feeling a little risky, want to put some cash down.
All right, man, I'm going to give you the real right here. This is my real opinion on this matchup. Again, Sean Strickland's a tricky one because the times that we bet on him to think we're making the smart play, like against Paeta, for an example, where he has the edges, we see that's not his style. His style is the same every time. And I'm going to ditch the jiu-jitsu. Like, after the motorcycle accident, he's like, I'm ditching all jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to become a boxer, pretty much a kickboxer, more or less, right? But I'm going to come up, I'm going to teep, and I'm going to jab, and I'm going to stick you with the big shot eventually, but I'm just going to walk you down, and we're going to go in a circle for 25 minutes. Until I can see that style adapt a little bit, it makes it hard for him to bet on. But again, I think that if there is a bet for him to land more significant strikes landed in this fight, which I know like DraftKings and stuff like that, you take that all day long because he's going to outstrike Duplessis. The only thing is, right, will he win the fight in Australia? Pretty much not a hometown game. I don't know why. He's a South African, but I feel like Australia, it's not neutral territory right here. So I think Duplessis gets an easy dub. Not an easy dub, hard-fought, contentious dub right here. I just think he has more tools in the tool belt to be able to like make that certainty of a victory much higher than Sean Strickland. I do think minus 200 is a pretty solid value play right here. Are you with that or not?
I'm with that all day, Derek. My one question, how shocked would you be if Sean Strickland actually does land the knockout and the judges aren't taking into consideration here? Because I'm at like an 8. If he can land this, like if he can involve his game to do that and put himself in the right places, I'd be pretty blown away.
We've seen Duplessis get hit by some real nasty shots, and the man has a real deal chin. But I wouldn't be surprised because, again, when you watch him technically, you see a lot of the things that you're taught not to do that he gets away with, and it just works. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe if he was more technical, maybe he would have got knocked down. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that the man is what? 22-2, 9 knockouts, 11 submissions, only 2 decisions. The man fights with reckless abandon. So if it hasn't failed him yet, I think we should be good. I think we're here. We're seeing solid ground here, and I do think that this is the guy right here. Until Chimaev challenges for the belt, I think that Duplessis is going to be holding it down, right?
Absolutely. That just made me excited because that would be a great fight.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's the play right there. Duplessis and AJ, we never gave him the real play because it's kind of baked into your prop. But you're saying in the distance, I think decision is the fair play. If you're looking at Duplessis plus 165 by point, do you take that and layer it on top of going the distance, or do you just say stick with going the distance and keep it pushing?
No, I do think it's a good decision because I like Duplessis to win this fight in multiple times. I think he would win this fight out of 10. So if you're looking to partner that plus 170 or plus 175 on addition to a minus 170, you're looking for good money right there if you're Duplessis better.
Yeah, if you're really heavy on Duplessis, you parlay them together and you make out like a bandit. You know what I'm saying? So